When Joker was announced back in December, the first thing I thought to myself was, what really is Persona 5? Well, it was actually pretty cheap back then, or at least there was a sale going on, so I got my hands on it. And let me tell you, after about 100 hours, it's one of the greatest RPGs I have ever played. Now before I dive into it, let me just say all of this is unscripted. Normally I write a script about things that I like, but I mean, I just couldn't. There's way too much stuff, and if I brought up literally everything that I like about this game, this video would be insanely long, and I don't want to do that. But instead of telling you everything I do like, which is pretty much everything, I'm just gonna go ahead and say everything I don't like. I hate to make a negative video about this game, especially because it's a really great game. So before I start going into everything that I'm not a big fan of, let me just say highly recommend like 9.8 out of 10. Alright? These are just very minimum things that I had an issue with and should totally be overlooked. But with that said, these are just some little issues that I have with the game. When you're not kicking ass in palaces or mementos, you're trying to build up your confidence. And that's something I didn't realize until pretty late in the game. I spent a lot of time doing basically worthless things, like playing baseball or watching a movie or going for a dip, when in reality I should have been hanging out with more friends, and by the time I realized that, it was a little too late. I actually only wound up getting a max confident with a few people on my party, which I wish I got more of. In fact, I didn't even know you could date party members. The game doesn't really tell you that, and you're supposed to go into it with that common knowledge. Except when you don't really know anything about the game, you don't really think about it. So let's just say the whole Valentine's thing at the end was kind of a little bit of a bust for me. Only because, well, I didn't have anyone. I take that back. Ryuji did give me his chocolate, which I am very grateful for. I love you, Ryuji. Although, I do love Futaba a little bit more. And Ann. Especially Ann. I like Ann. Moving on to the battle system, the game isn't really that hard, but there are times where it can really fuck you over. You're only allowed to save in palaces whenever you reach a safe room, which I like, and I also dread, because there are times where I will just be bone dry, have no HP or magic left, and next thing you know, there's not another safe room for about a mile away, which can really screw me over, especially because if Joker's the one that dies, then the game's over. I hate that. There will be times where enemies will just gang up on Joker, and there's nothing I can do except for watch him fall as everyone goes, Joker! And then, game over. Sucks to suck. And that's not really that bad out on the surface, but when you get to the boss fights, that's when it gets really annoying. For the record, most of the boss fights are very creative and very fun, except it gets really repetitive at times. Basically, all it is that the enemy has a few tricks up your sleeve, you learn what it is, you find the weakness, rinse and repeat. However, then what they like to do is, when there's about a sliver of health left, they like to do this new super move, which even if your whole team is guarding, it'll still totally knock you out. I don't know if it's luck, I don't know if you just have to boost defense and whatnot, but point is, it's so dumb, especially because some of these boss fights are really long. It's really annoying whenever I spend 40 minutes ticking away at the boss's health, all for him to just wipe me out in one turn. What's the point of that? There isn't really anything else I wanted to say negatively about the game. Some things that I love, of course the music's amazing, the character development's awesome, and they actually feel like real people. Props to the voice acting. And all I can say is, if you have not played Persona 5 yet, or any of the Persona games, go give it a try. They're a ton of fun, and they will definitely eat up a lot of hours. Thanks for watching.